All right, guys, here's the back of our worksheet. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult, so be patient. Instead of our scale being 1 inch equals 10 feet, it's 1 inch equals 500 miles. So the first thing we need to do is we need to label our ruler to help us with that. So we're going to cross out the 10 feet, the 20 feet, the 30 feet, the 40 feet, the 50 feet, and the 60 feet. So do that now, please. I want you to follow along with me because we need to get this labeled pretty quickly. The small marker between the end of the ruler and the 1 inch needs to be labeled 250. That's the small piece. Then the 1 inch needs to be labeled 500 miles. Then the next small one needs to be labeled 750 miles. The 2 inch needs to be labeled 1,000 miles. The small one next to it needs to be labeled 1,250 miles. The 3 inch needs to be labeled 1,500 miles. The small one needs to be 1,750 miles. The next one, the 4 inch, is 2,000 miles. Between the 4 inch and 5 inch needs to be 2,225 miles. The 5 inch needs to be 2,500 miles. The small one needs to be 2,750 miles. 6 inch needs to be 3,000 miles. And then the next small one needs to be 3,250 miles. So our goal today, guys, is we are going to figure out the distance between two locations. And we are going to be rounding our answer to the nearest tick mark. So whether it's 250, 500, 750, whatever it's closest to is what's going to be your answer. So we're going to do one together as a group that's not on the assignment, and we're going to do Seattle to Pierre. So I'm going to put the very, very edge next to Seattle, and then I'm going to put it all the way up to Pierre. Now, if we look here at Pierre, guys, what is it closest to? It's definitely closer to the 1,000 than it is to the 1,250. So you would write your answer 1,000 miles. Make sure that you label it with miles. Maybe I would do Reno to Denver. So I would go here, right to the very close edge. And of course, Reno to Denver, the closest is 750 miles. So that is what you're going to do here, guys, is you're going to write the approximate distance. So we're rounding to the nearest tick mark today. The last question is number 6, and it is a doozy, and I will give you extra credit if you get it right. So take your time on that one. It's asking you if you went from Buffalo to St. Louis. So what I would do is here, figure out how far it is from Buffalo to St. Louis and write that number right on top there. Then it says, then flying from St. Louis to Seattle. Then you would need to write that amount right there. Then from Seattle to Reno, you would measure that and write that number somewhere above that. Then from Reno to Dallas, you would need to measure that and write it right above there. And then back to Buffalo. So then you would start at Dallas and go straight back to Buffalo and measure that and write that next to that. Then add all of those numbers together. So I showed you exactly where I wanted you to write the numbers. Write them as you go, and then write a math problem and come up with the answer. And I will give you extra credit if you get that right. Now, guys, that's to be done by you. It doesn't count extra credit if we get mom and dad to help us do it. We need to make sure that we do it on our own, okay? So my suggestion, just like my suggestion was on the front, is as you measure it, draw a line from there if you want to. It's easier to kind of follow it, but you don't have to. You can just measure it just like this. So as soon as you're done with both sides, then if you'll take a picture and submit it, and it's not going to be due till Tuesday night.